how much
Yes.
would you say you want to spend in content creation versus how much should we be spending in engagement and listening and seeing what else is going on locally?
I would say that we need to be engaging 4 times more than we're
Wow.
contributing. At Gary Vee, who is a controversial human, but he wrote a book called Jab Jab. Was it Jab Jab Jab? Jab Jab Right Hook?
I think it's 3 of them. 3
3
jabs and a right
jabs.
hook.
3 jabs and a right hook. But the whole idea is that, you know, you're putting out before you can take somebody out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we want to be giving more than we're getting. And if we're not, again, engagement trumps quality every time. So we need to be engaging with people way more than we're asking. We're talking about ourselves.
And I think it's important to jump in here and say, you know, we should probably talk about how are we defining or describing engagement. So it's not just when somebody comments on our church post that we reply to them, but we're also actively going out and liking other people's posts and engaging on other people's posts. So what are some ideas on how a church can do that, again, without being weird? So how can, instead of the church being like, nice photo on all these photos, right? Because that could get really weird if just randomly the church is saying nice photo. How do we go and engage with other people and on their posts and their content without being weird? What are some tips for a church?
I would love, actually, Adam, I would love to hear what your perspective is, because I struggle with this. You know, the question comes up a lot with following. Who do you choose to follow back? So do you follow, what do you think about following people back so that they show up on your newsfeed? Do you follow back all of the people in your church, or do you only follow your staff? What do you like? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, as a church, I would say that you want to follow as many people as you're relevantly going to engage with, right? So if you can find ways to engage with local businesses, then I would, as your church, follow those local businesses and follow the mayor of your town and follow, you know, the sheriff's office and follow the people in your church who are regularly engaging with you. And I think there's something about, like, you know, it's kind of like a handshake. Like, you follow me, so I follow you, so now we're friends, right? Rather than like just, okay, everybody should follow the church, but we're following 7 people because that's who's on staff. And I think that opens up the door to, you know, see maybe when you're browsing through your church's newsfeed, things that local businesses might be using hashtags that you didn't realize were catching on yet, or an event might be coming up that you didn't yet recognize, but now you can share it into your story. So, I mean, that's my take, but again, it's not just follow everybody who follows you randomly. It would be to strategically find people locally and people in your church who you're going to engage with.
Yeah, I think it gets a little bit tricky when we're talking about our church members. And so on Twitter, I followed every single person that followed us back. And I saw a lot of stuff on Twitter that I don't think they wanted the church to see. And I was like, oh man, we should not be following you. This is not okay. But when it comes to Instagram, so this is just my take, you know, take it with a grain of salt. I don't think there's any one right or wrong way to go about it. But the stuff that I engaged with was stuff that was pertinent to the church. So if people were talking about their quiet time, or if people were talking about their small groups, or, you know, their generosity, either with their time or their resources, or spiritual growth questions, or maybe like things that they're learning as in parenting, you know, anything that I could do that would be encouraging and contributing in a way that the church would already do on the weekend, I did online. So like if somebody's talking about the, you know, hamburgers, again, just popped into my head. I must be hungry. Because somebody was talking about this really great burger that they ate for dinner. I'm probably not going to comment on that, right? It has nothing to do with us. It's just not pertinent, and it feels a little creepy. Like, why is my church commenting on how good my hamburger was? But if you're writing about how good your quiet time was this morning, I can for sure write about that, because that's something that's relatable, that we are on that is the same spectrum that we're already in together.
Hmm.
And I'm not stepping outside of that box until you invite me into that box.
Yeah.
So that's my take. That's what I would do when it comes to engaging with people, individual accounts on Instagram, stuff that's pertinent to what we're already talking about as a church.